pressure on you, but it is a big task. And I think you all know it because you've come here today. You want to have as much information as you can to make a calculated decision on something that will define a lot in your future. And so the question is, how can you prepare yourself for future when we don't quite know what the future holds? For example, you might all have heard about studies saying that everything you learn in schools in about 10 to 15 years becomes irrelevant because the knowledge you learn gets outdated. So how do you prepare yourself for the future when the future is changing at all times? That is the question you're all asking when you're deciding where and what to study. And also, we all hear the news about how artificial intelligence is changing careers, how the robotics is changing careers. So we really don't know what future careers there even are. Completely new fields will emerge, and some of the fields that we study now will also become obsolete. So again, how to prepare yourself for a future that is so uncertain? I want to tell you, based on my experience, I have studied in 4 different universities in 4 different countries. Luckily, I've studied in universities that have been the best in my own field of international relations. And I want to take that experience and share to you what I have learned is the best way for you to prepare for a future and what maybe Finland has to offer in that realm. So here we are. So the first question is indeed how to prepare for the future. So first of all, you want an education system that is proven to be very high quality. Here, I think Finland can offer a lot. You might have heard of the PISA studies and essentially how the Finnish education system has year after year been proven to be the best in the world. There has always also been a study done by the Economic Intelligence Unit that looked at all the different countries and which education system prepares students for future the best. And unsurprisingly, Finland was the clear winner in that ranking. And I want to tell you why and what you can learn from it, whether you study in Finland or not. And so I think there are 2 big areas that you want to focus on in your studies. Because I want to also be real, a lot of universities and a lot of schools, you study to get good results in your exam, to get into a good school, to get into a good career. And you can do that in many places. But what happens after might be a little bit of a question mark. You might have always been the best and end up in the best place, but the challenges you face, you have to prepare yourself in your studies. And that doesn't happen automatically. So the first area you want to focus on, I think, to prepare yourself for the future is how can you teach yourself to learn? How can you learn to learn? As I said, if it is true that knowledge itself becomes outdated, then there's no point of focusing on the knowledge, but it is creating those habits for your future that you can make sure that you can learn new knowledge as it comes and you can stay on top and even change careers if you need later on. And also, careers are not anymore these singular forms where you go to one track and you stay on there. We need a lot of collaboration in order to tackle big challenges like climate change, economic difficulties, income inequality that needs interdisciplinary work. So you need to also know a lot from other fields. So how do you do that? You do that by focusing on academic critical thinking. So don't choose a place where you can just learn the knowledge show in the test that you're the best, and then you come on top. Choose a system that teaches you to teach yourself. And based on my experience, studying in those 4 different universities, I've studied in Finland at University of Finland, the best in international relations, where the current Prime Minister, for example, has studied. We studied together. I've studied at Sciences Po in Paris, that most French presidents study. Emmanuel Macron, who will be here next week for the APEC meeting, also was a student at Sciences Po. London School of Economics and Political Science, the best in the field of economics. And then lastly, I did my master's degree at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. That is ranked #1 professional international relations program on top of Harvard year after year. And I've been lucky to observe that they all prepare you for different things, but when it comes to for critical thinking and how to question and learn the knowledge yourself, the Finnish system, in my experience, has been the best for that. All of them prepare you for many things, but look for a system where you teach yourself and to be independent. Because in a lot of positions, for example, now in my current position, where I'm hiring new students and new employees, you are often giving a task that here is a field, you are the sole expert in it, and it is up to you to come with the solutions to propose to the embassy leadership. So there are no solutions. There is no more books where you can see the right answer. So you might have been the best in your school and learned everything and did everything right, but when you arrived at this new position, how do you excel if you don't have that critical thinking and that entrepreneurial attitude? So that's also why I encourage you to do a lot of things outside of your studies, whether it be active in different student organizations or do internships and go abroad, learn new languages. All that will prepare you for something that you don't know quite see. It will all connect at some point. And I have a little anecdote to tell you in terms of the different systems. So I recently had lunch with a Harvard-educated, very wealthy and a very powerful person here in Thailand, and they said in the 70s it was that everybody wanted and should have gone to New Zealand and Australia to study. In the year 2000, you wanted to go to US and UK for your studies. Nowadays, you want to go to Finland for that knowledge. So that was his analysis, word to word. So again, the critical thinking, I'll give you another example there. So for example, our current Prime Minister who I studied with, she is 36, now she was 35 when she was chosen, and her first task to deal with was the COVID endemic and the pandemic. So how do you, through such a challenge, is not something you learn in school, but the Finnish system had prepared her and she had been very successful in that, being flexible, but those might be the challenges that you can be facing, whether you'll be the Prime Minister of your country or you'll be in another position. Also in terms of business, there is a good example what the Finnish system does in order to prepare you for the critical thinking. So the biggest venture capital gathering in the world is called Slush, and it's organized in Finland. And it was started by students, university students, who wanted to get together. First year there were 200, and then later more and more arrived. And they made it into the biggest event where most money in the world is decided how it's invested. That's an astonishing accomplishment for students, and it's still run by students. So those people who study at Aalto University in Finland, they run it year after year. It's not become professional, it is professional, but it's still run by students besides their studies. And that's how it stays fresh. Those same people who then have run the Slush event year after year, for example, they started sort of a Finnish version of Grab food delivery in Finland that recently sold for 300 billion baht. So they came up with something completely new, something that didn't exist. There was no guidebook for it. And these young people created the company, expanded to 30 countries, and again, sold it, made a lot of money. But again, this university system prepared them to think themselves, think critically, and be independent. And those are the skills you want to have in order to succeed, whatever your field is. If you can create something new, you will succeed in the new world. And then my last point is, in order for you to succeed, you need to be also happy and have a good balance in your life. Too often we work so hard and push ourselves to the limit, and then to lose it all, maybe not being able to have it together. So it's important that you have a balance. You're working very hard as students. As students, you will be year after year pushing yourself to learn new knowledge, but it doesn't stop there. Then you will enter a work life, and there'll be more challenges, and the pace is getting quicker and quicker. So you need to learn to pace yourself in order for you to be successful. I was the spokesperson for the Finnish Prime Minister before this position, and his secret was that he said no to more things than others. He had the energy. When he did something, he did it so well that it created more. So you want to find that balance. And here the argument for Finland is that Finland, you might have heard, is the happiest country in the world 5 years in a row according to the United Nations. We are famous for our work-life balance, which means that you can have a good balance between your studies, your work, and your free time, your friends and your family, and your passions and your hobbies. Because it's very important to find your thing. For example, I recently talked with Professor Vitit, who is a famous Thai scholar, and he said for him, really his secret is learning, finding that one area for him, it was running and keeping a good care of his body so he can be successful in his professional life. You need to find that something. Maybe it's art, maybe it's something else. You know what it is, but you need to find it and you need to make sure that you have joy and excitement in life. Finland is a good place for that as well because there is a lot of pure nature. Finland has the purest air in the world. You are always close to nature. I give this 1 hour happiness talk around different universities in Thailand. I'll save you from that 1 hour lecture from now, but there's really a lot of science behind how does an individual or nation become happy, and indeed nature is a big part of it. Having 200,000 lakes, oceans nearby you, and the world's largest archipelago there, 4 beautiful seasons. In Finland, if you choose to study there, you are relatively close to home. The time difference is only 4 hours or 5 hours during the winter. You can keep up with your loved ones, visit. Whether it's Finland or another country, make sure you keep that balance. And here I will finish with a little anecdote of someone who didn't keep balance as a warning. So a mother is waiting for her son to come back home from school. And he does, and the mother asks, "So how was your day at school?" And the son replies, "My mother, I didn't like it. It was boring, it was annoying. The other children were teasing me and I just don't want to do that." And the mother is thinking, "Okay, my son, I hear you, those are good reasons, but I also have 3 reasons for you why you have to go back. And the 3 reasons are: 1, it is your obligation; 2, you are 45; and 3, you are the principal of that school." So he didn't exactly have the joy for his job, but make sure that you do for yours. So in short, how to prepare for a future that is uncertain? You can do it by focusing on choosing a system and a university and a study where you can teach yourself for the unknown future. learn to do that yourself, learn to be independent, learn to be autonomous, and make sure you have that happiness and balance in your life. So no matter what the challenges are, you can take it. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to assure that it's the most exciting time in your life. Be excited, and you will do all great. I wish you all the best, and thank you for your time. ครับคุณครับ
Thank you คุณมิกะ Yes สวัสดีค่ะชื่อธีรนุช ลิจิราวณิชนะคะทำงานที่สถานทูตฟินแลนด์นะคะวันนี้ก็จะมาขอ wrap up นะคะที่คุณมิกะเพิ่งกล่าวไปเมื่อกี้เป็นภาษาไทยนะคะให้น้องๆได้เข้าใจอีกรอบนึงนะคะเขาบอกว่าเมื่อ15ปีที่แล้วนะคะเขาก็เคยอยู่ในสถานการณ์เดียวกันกับพวกคุณนะคะก็คือเขาจะต้องเลือกมหาวิทยาลัยและเมื่อ7ปีที่แล้วเขาจะต้องเลือกที่จะเรียนต่อระดับปริญญาโทการตัดสินใจเป็นเรื่องใหญ่และสามารถกำหนดชีวิตที่เหลือของคุณได้ในขณะเดียวกันโลกก็เปลี่ยนไปจากตอนที่พ่อแม่ของคุณเรียนนะคะคุณจะเข้าสู่โลกแห่งการทำงานในยุคที่ปริญญาโทจะไม่รับประกันงานของคุณอีกต่อไปการเปลี่ยนแปลงทางเทคโนโลยีที่เกิดขึ้นอย่างรวดเร็วจนทำให้สิ่งที่คุณได้เรียนในโรงเรียนกลายเป็นสิ่งที่ล้าสมัยในอีกทศวรรษจากประสบการณ์การเรียนในมหาวิทยาลัยที่ดีที่สุดในโลกในสาขาที่เขาเลือกนะคะจากประเทศอังกฤษอเมริกาฝรั่งเศสและฟินแลนด์เขาขอให้เหตุผล3ข้อว่าทำไมการเรียนที่ฟินแลนด์จึงเป็นตัวเลือกที่ดีที่สุดในการออกแบบอาชีพในอนาคตนะคะข้อแรกฟินแลนด์นะคะมีระบบการศึกษาที่ดีที่สุดในโลกที่ยืนยันโดยการทดสอบปีซ่าในระดับนานาชาติหน่วยงานข่าวกรองนักเศรษฐศาสตร์ยังจัดอันดับฟินแลนด์อย่างชัดเจนว่าเป็นระบบการศึกษาที่พร้อมสำหรับอนาคตมากที่สุดข้อ2นะคะฟินแลนด์เป็นที่ที่เตรียมให้คุณพร้อมสำหรับการสอนทักษะที่จำเป็นสำหรับชีวิตได้ดีที่สุดในเมื่อความรู้เริ่มเก่าอย่างรวดเร็วเราต้องการความสามารถในการเรียนรู้ข้อมูลใหม่ด้วยตัวเองจากประสบการณ์ของเขาที่เคยได้ไปเรียนที่อเมริกาอังกฤษฝรั่งเศสและฟินแลนด์นะคะเขาก็ได้ค้นพบว่าที่ฟินแลนด์นี้มีการมุ่งเน้นการคิดเชิงวิพากษ์วิจารณ์วิเคราะห์และมีกระบวนการคิดที่เป็นอิสระกว่าที่ใดๆในโลกนายกรัฐมนตรีหญิงของฟินแลนด์มีอายุแค่เพียง35ปีตอนที่เขาได้รับเลือกเป็นผู้นำของประเทศและงาน Slush ที่เป็นการรวมตัวของ Venture Capital ที่ใหญ่ที่สุดในโลกก็ได้ถูกคิดค้นโดยนักศึกษาสาขาธุรกิจชาวฟินแลนด์และเพิ่งก่อตั้งบริษัท Volt ที่ขายได้300ล้านบาทหรือ 8,000 ล้านยูโรข้อ3ฟินแลนด์จะทำให้คุณเป็นคนที่มีความสุขมากกว่าที่ใดๆในโลกเพราะฟินแลนด์ได้รับการจัดอันดับว่าเป็นประเทศที่มีความสุขที่สุดในโลกถึง5ปีซ้อนประเทศฟินแลนด์มี work life balance ที่ดีและมีธรรมชาติที่สวยงามอยู่ใกล้คุณเสมอมีอากาศและน้ำที่สะอาดที่สุดในโลกเขามีทะเลสาบ 200,000 แห่งและก็เกาะกว่า 200,000 เกาะนะคะฟินแลนด์ยังอยู่ใกล้กับประเทศไทยมากกว่าหลายๆที่และเวลาต่างกันแค่ 4-5 ชั่วโมงคุณจึงสามารถติดต่อกับครอบครัวและคนที่คุณรักได้อย่างชัดเจนค่ะดังนั้นถ้าคุณต้องการเตรียมพร้อมสำหรับการออกแบบอนาคตของคุณและรับการศึกษาที่ดีที่สุดในโลกและมีความสุขด้วยก็อยากจะขอชวนให้มาเรียนที่ฟินแลนด์นะคะและสุดท้ายนะคะทุกคนสามารถสอบถามเกี่ยวกับมหาวิทยาลัยในฟินแลนด์ได้ที่บูธ R1112 นะคะหรือว่าฟินแลนด์พาวิเลียนค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับขอเสียงปรบมือครับ Thank you very much Deputy Head of Mission Embassy of Finland in Bangkok Mr. Mika Tomi
Thank you
ขอบ
very
คุณ
much
ครับ and thank you คุณจิรนุชด้วยนะครับ
and I think we have 10 minutes for questions
That's right
if you have any questions about Finland about how to future-proof your careers I'm happy to answer
All right one raise his hand
That's great. As far I know, Finland have the same qualities between the city and in the rural areas or the countryside. I would like to know the Finland government, how do they cope, how do they manage it to do like that? because I think it's very good to do like that.
หมายถึง
If you study in the big city or big university or in the same small town, as far I know, the quality of education is the same. How do they manage it?
I think that's an excellent point. Indeed, that's one of the secrets of the Finnish educational system that no matter if you're in the big city or in the small city, as the gentleman here pointed out, you get the same quality level of education. And I think what separates Finland from a lot of other countries, the profession of a teacher, it is extremely appreciated. And it is maybe surprising, but in Finland, in order for you to become a teacher and to study education, it is as difficult to get in that if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. So it is extremely competitive. Only the best get to become teachers. And I think why that is that teachers are paid not that little, but it's not the pay that explains it. I think what explains it in Finland is that teachers are giving a lot of autonomy. So the teachers can tell what's the best for their students. And there's very little testing, which means, again, the teachers find the best way to teach their students because they know the best rather than everybody studying for the exam. You only have one exam at the end of university. At the end of high school that defines which university you can go. But even then, you can have an entrance exam to go to the university. So if that doesn't go well, you're not, hope is not lost. And I think that explains a little bit of the Finnish success in this regard. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Let me translate
Yes.
in short นะคะให้แปลนิดนึงนะคะเมื่อกี้เขาบอกว่าkey success ของการศึกษาฟินแลนด์นะคะก็คือคุณครูค่ะเขาให้ความสำคัญกับคุณครูมากในการที่จะเป็นครูเนี่ยจะต้องจบในระดับปริญญาโทแล้วก็การที่จะมาเป็นครูเนี่ยยากพอๆกับที่จะมาเป็นคุณหมอเลยค่ะก็คือเขาให้ความเชื่อในคุณครูมากค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay. I am a Thai teacher, the government teacher, and I completely agree with the idea that you prefer the system over the knowledge. So maybe last month I went to the Ministry of Education and gave the speech to the permanent secretary about the competency of the teacher in Thailand, so that we going to have the quality education. I talked a similar thing like you did, so I'm impressed. And I encourage, if you are the student, I'm a teacher, I encourage you to teach yourself, to learn, not just knowledge. You got to teach yourself the system so that you can keep doing that throughout your life. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for that.
ขอบคุณครับ
Well, thank you first of all. Being a teacher, I believe, global profession one can have in the world. You're taking your time to teach others and share your knowledge. I come from a family of dozens of teachers, so I've been surrounded by all teachers all my life. My mother is a teacher. My sister will become a university lecturer and so on. So thank you for your service. And exactly, I think, and I just want to say one more thing is most education systems, and nobody maybe says this to you, are there to rank people. They can rank people so the top can be chosen for certain companies and professions. That's the basic educational system, and that's the easiest way to go. And I'm afraid that a lot of schools unfortunately function nowadays that way because they were created during the industrial revolution, so factories would have workers that know certain things. but that's not enough for today's world. So that's why you need to really go your way out and find those systems that teach you to teach. And I think we have a next question there. Thank you very much.
Sorry. If I want to know, is it difficult to apply for the Finnish visa? As the person elder like me, 50 years old, can go into Finland to work? My question is that. Thank you.
So the question is how to apply. So that's something we do at the Finnish Embassy. So in Bangkok, there's a company called VFS that does the visa handling. So it's a simple process. All the information is on the website, and I'm very happy that you want to come to Finland and experience it. And I recommend you to go during the very summer or the very winter when it's a little bit different, so you see the contrast. So welcome. And did we have one more question over there? Yes.
Hello, I am a student and I'm very interested in becoming a diplomat. So right now I'm kind of lackluster in preparation. So do you have any recommendation for me? Thank you.
Very good. That's a good question. First of all, I congratulate you, and it's an interesting career. You will not have a dull moment. Recommendation for you is study a lot of different things and do a lot of different things. Just to give an example, so in my background, things that I've done is I've studied international relations, but I've also studied a lot of economics because I thought it's important to understand how economics work. I worked with the World Bank with international development. I worked with the trade minister with international trade. Politics, I was a peacekeeper in Chad, so a soldier. So I've done various things that are very different, and maybe you wouldn't think there's any connection between them. But now in my current job, they all somehow connect. So that's my recommendation to you. Do as many different things as you can to prepare you for representing Thailand in the future. Thank you. And I think we have maybe time for one more question if we have. If there are no more questions, I think I will say Kap Kunka and good luck for you. It's an exciting time again. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again Mr. Mikatomi และขอขอบคุณคุณธีรนุชด้วยครับ
Thank you.
Thank you so much